let's get started and build out our index.php. We'll worry about the style sheet in the next video. But the index.php is extremely important, and this is the file that will that WordPress will look for when it wants to pull up a default page or a post page, and it is required by WordPress. So we do need to put a little bit of PHP in this, if you remember from class. So without further ado, let's go in and grab our prototype folder, and this can be your site. This will be your site, that the code that you put. Mine will differ a little bit from yours, and that is okay. The concept is still the actual same. So I'm gonna go in and drag my prototype folder in here. If we open this folder, it's got like a about.html, full width.html, index, style, and a 2-column. Now the index.html is going to be a custom page. The about will be a custom page. Yours can differ from this. Then we have our template pages. So this is where the user can go in and call these template pages to add their own actual content. So I'm going to drag this into brackets. And what I'm going to do is I want to take a look at my full width layout here. And this is just a basic blank template file. Now what I want to do is I want to leave the header. I don't want to use any of this information, because if you remember, we call in template partials. So I do not want this information in there. I also don't want any information for the footer, which I don't have one, but I'll add one here soon. So what I want to do is I want to grab everything from the div class main content with wrapper. So this is where all my content is that's not in the actual header, and I want to copy this. I'm going to grab it to this last div, and like I said, yours will differ a little bit, but the concept is still sort of the same. Leave the header and the footer out, and let's copy this. Okay, and then I'm going to jump back to my themes folder. So in brackets, you can pull up the last folder that you had, which mine is customs. There it is. And I'm going to paste this into my index.php. And what I want you to do is we actually want to delete the content. I do not want the lorem ipsum here. So I'm just going to go in and just grab this and hit delete. Just the paragraphs here. So all we're left with is our main wrappers here, and this is pretty cool. So there's a couple things that we need to do. The first thing that we need to do is, remember, we're going to have a template partial. We're leaving the header and the footer and that type of stuff out. So what this is going to allow us to do is we can call those in dynamically, which is really, really cool. And then the user can create their own sort of navigation menu. And what I'm going to do is we're going to start off and write some PHP. So whenever you're writing PHP, it'll be an open caret and then a question mark. And we're going to say PHP. And it ends with a question mark and a closed caret. So this is how PHP always sort of starts. And any content that we want is going to be written in between the opening and closing. So with that being said, the only thing we want to do is just call in our header. And the way that you do that is you just write get underscore header. Right? And then we add our parentheses and then a semicolon at the end. And that's it. And we're going to want to do this for the footer too. So let's go in and copy this, Command C and Command V. And instead of get header, we're just going to say get footer. And there we go. And let's hit save. So we're good there. And I'm happy with that. So we called that in. Alright. Now, there's a couple other things that we want to do. Now on this H1 here, it says main heading. You don't want that. You want the user to be able to input this information in there. So I'm going to delete main heading and we're going to write some PHP. Alright, and what I want to do is I want to tell WordPress to actually get the title. So whatever the user puts, I want WordPress to get that and then echo it out, which means place it on my page. So let's go in and do our PHP. Open char PHP. Okay. And let's come in and write some code. So I'm going to say, hey, PHP, I want you to echo. That means get whatever title the user writes and place it on my page. And to say get the title, that's literally what it is. It's get underscore the underscore title. And that's it. So this code right here is going to get WordPress to call in the title for us, which is really good. And we're good. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Alright. Now in this main content div, I want to call in a WordPress loop. You need to remember the name. So whenever you're calling in a loop, what you're doing is essentially saying whatever the user puts on the page, I want you to get that information and put it on the page where everybody can see. So we're going to have to do that. And this, it's not too long, but we do have to write something here. So let's do open caret $PHP. And then let's close that. PHP. Alright. Now what I want to do is let's start off the loop. So I'm going to say if. This is an if statement. Now usually any programming has an if and a then statement. So if this happens, then I want this to happen. And what we want to tell this if to do is if I have underscore post. Alright, if I have post, then I want you to find those posts. And let's just end it with a colon. So I'm saying if I have post, then, and then in PHP is while. So if I have post, I pretty much want you to grab those posts. So I'm going to say have underscore post. So I have post. And let's put our parentheses and then our colon. So if I have posts, I want you to get those posts. And while you're getting those posts, I want to say the underscore post. Alright. And I want you to grab the content of those posts. So I'm going to say the underscore content. And after that, we want to end our if and our while statement. So let's go in and do that. I'm going to say end while. And I'm going to say end if. So let's just go through what we have written here. So I'm saying if I have post, then I have post. I want you to go get the post. And I want you to fetch the content and place it on the page. And then end my if, my while statement, and end my with statement. And this is directly all we will need. And let's hit save. And that is it. So we have finished our index.php page. And this is all we need. We don't need anything more complicated than this. And that's the end of this video.